Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. I am back with another weekly reading update. Today is January 18th. We are halfway through January, the first month of 2025, and y'all, it has been a month for me. So I have a lot to catch up on. We're going to start with the books I finished, then move on to my current reads, then to a one unfortunate DNF, and lastly talk about what I'm going to be reading next. So first with my finished books, I have two that I have finished. One was a beta read that I was telling y'all about, Whispers of the Night by Craig P. Blanco. This was a solid start to the book, but I feel like it needs some work. I think I gave Craig some really good feedback to get his book to the next level. And then the other book that I have finished this week is So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, which is book 4 in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series by Douglas Adams. I think this one is my favorite in the series so far. I have one more left in the kind of canon series, and I'm really looking forward to finishing that series up. Now let's move on to my current reads. First up is Drums of Autumn by Danica Baldwin. This is book 4 in the Outlander series, and this book, y'all, is a slow book. This is one of those books where there's a lot of small things happen, and they feel inconsequential in the moment in this book, but they become really important in later books. So I am sticking with it, sticking through it. Outlander is one of my favorite series, as you know, so I gotta push on to get to the better stuff later in the series. There are some good moments, and there are some moments that really, really get the emotion out of me. Both good and bad emotions in this book. I'm about halfway through, maybe a little bit more than halfway, so we're sticking with it and we are going to finish it. Another book I'm making my way through is Ship of Magic by Robin Hobb. This is book 1 in the Live Ship Traders series, and this one I am not as far in. I started this one after I started Drums of Autumn. So far, I am liking this more than the Farseer trilogy, but I'm not loving it yet. My favorite character is Althea. I just love her so much. The next book up that I'm going to be talking about is actually a short story, not a book, of course. That is a short story from Side Jobs. I started it as part of Short Story Sunday, and I hope to finish it hopefully tonight, maybe tomorrow. I am reading the Last Call short story, and basically in this short story, McNally's beer has been tampered with. Someone put a curse on it and has put everyone in the pub to sleep. Dresden and Murphy are trying to figure out who did it, what they did, and how they stop it and get everyone back to normal. And it's really interesting seeing Dresden in this kind of crisis moment, because normally the crisis moments that he's in are other people's crises, but he loves Mac. Mac is one of his dearest friends. And he loves Mac's beer, so he's got to figure this out so he can enjoy both his friendship and his beer with Mac. Next up is Breath of the Dragon by Shannon Lee and Fonda Lee, and I am really, really enjoying this so far. I am very early on, just a couple chapters in, but y'all, this book is so good. This is a YA fantasy based off of Bruce Lee, who is Shannon Lee's father, Bruce Lee's philosophies, and is so good so far. The writing is fantastic, the characters are amazing, and I'm just really, really loving getting back into Fonda Lee's writing here. Next up, we have The Lotus Eaters by Tatiana Soli. This book is getting really interesting to me. This is the book that takes place in Vietnam after the American soldiers are withdrawing from Vietnam in the conflict, the war, whatever you want to call it. And the writing in this book is really, really deep. It's a slow book, but it's meant to be slow. You're meant to sit there and think about what you're reading as you're reading it. And it's definitely a change from some of the other books that I'm reading. And then the last book that I have going on right now is an arc that I am reading digitally on my Kindle. That's The Diplomacy of the Knife by C.M. Kaplan. This is book 2 in a series, which I don't know the series name of. The first book was called The Fall Is All There Is, and I liked book 1, but I had a hard time with the narration sometimes. Book 2 so far is reading much, much better for me. I'm only a couple chapters in, maybe 7 or 8 chapters. And so far, I am really, really enjoying this writing much better than in book 1. And I love the sarcastic humor in this. So let's talk about the DNF for this week. I decided to go ahead and DNF This Life or the Next by Demian Vitanza. For me, the reason why I decided to DNF this is because the narration style, I just couldn't follow. I couldn't handle it with my crazed, stressed out brain right now. It read almost like it was if it was being kind of speech to text dictated. Like, this main character, this narrator, was telling his life story to someone, and they were writing it down word for word, and there was no editing. And it just is really hard for me to follow in that kind of style, and it feels really jumpy, and I just had a hard time following it, so I decided to DNF it. The next book up that I'll be starting once I get done with one of these is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I am so excited for this. I've heard great things about this. The cover is absolutely adorable. I can't wait to get into this witchy book. So that's it for now. Let me know in the comments below, which one of these books have you read? What did you think of it? What was your favorite reading moment from the past week? What are you looking forward to reading the most next week? As always, keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.